welcome to Balanced Body Podcast. I'm Jennifer Gianni from Fusion Pilates of Asheville, North Carolina, and this is my friend and client Ann. She'll be demonstrating some more pregnancy exercises for us using the sitting box. So a few sequences that you can incorporate. But again, remember that Ann is very strong. She's a very good mover. She's days away from delivering, but she's still able to do a lot of the squat positions because she's been doing them for so long. So really be careful with your clients and take it on an individual basis. So we have the sitting box. We put a blanket on here because at the end of this sequence, I really want to stretch her pelvic floor and her inner thighs, but I don't want the edge of the box jamming into her. So I've added some cushion. I might even decide to add more for some clients, right? So she's going to give me feedback about it. And so let's begin. All right, we're going to begin this sequence with some side bending. Ann is fine with side bending. You have to remember that some of your clients, a lot of them will get anterior rib pain as they get bigger, especially in third trimester, and they won't be able to do these side bending movements. So be careful about that. Her legs are going to separate, so you're going to be in external rotation. You can bring your feet forward just a little bit. So let's put the left hand on the left side of the box. The right arm goes up to the ceiling and she's going to side bend. We're going to do a little windmill mermaid. So on her exhale, I want her to round forward and really pull her belly in. And I'd like to see her lumbar spine open. And then she's going to windmill her left arm above her head. And then exhale, I want her to go into a curl through center, opening the lumbar spine. And then inhale, side bend and arch to the other side. And exhale, curl, opening the lumbar spine. Inhale, up and over, and just two more of these. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, softening the elbow at the top. Good. Exhale, up and over. And inhale to the other side. And gently coming up and back to a seated position. All right, another supported squat for your clients. So this is an excellent one for a lot of people, and a lot of your clients will be able to do this one. So she's seated on the box. She's going to hinge her torso over and put her elbow on the inner thigh, and her hands are together. So on this one, what you have to cue is a counter pressure of the elbow into the inner thigh and the inner thigh into the elbow. And then she has this nice long back, wide pelvic diamond, sternum pulling forward. So Ann, start to cycle the breath, just deep inhales and exhales. She's hugging the baby into the front of her spine, keeping that counter pressure the whole time. So as she cycles her breath, I want her to feel lighter and lighter on her sitting bones. She'll start to pick up more weight in the front and back of her feet equally. Good, keep hugging into the spine, keep pulling the pelvic floor away from the sternum, away from the crown of the head. Now more advanced, and Ann is able to do this, on her exhale, she'll gently lift her sitting bones a few inches up off the mat. So she's strengthening her legs, she's preparing for labor, again, a birthing position, opening the pelvic floor, hugging the baby into the front of the spine, and staying solid on her feet. Now with control, and this is really the excellent part about Ann as a mover. So on the exhale, she can really control her sitting bones down to the box so she doesn't slam into the box, but she uses her breath and her abdominals to gently set the sitting bones down onto the box. Very good. All right, so now we're going to do an opening and a stretch for the pelvic floor and the inner thighs, which is really important at this stage of her pregnancy. So I'm going to get these stacked blankets. You can also use a bolster here because I just want to build up the floor so her hands have something to reach towards. And we've added all these stickies. And part of it is the sliding, but also part of it is the comfort at the back of the heel. So she's pressing out through the heels, but I don't want her to straighten the legs all the way because I don't want her to jam into her joints. So I want a little soft secret bend of the knee. She's going to lengthen up, deep inhale, and on the exhale, she's going to hinge forward, one hand at a time to the blanket. Good, and she's scooting it in because I put it too far away, good. And I want her to really open her peacock feathers in the back. So she's really opening her pelvic floor, fanning her pelvic floor, and then reaching out through the sternum, widening in the collarbone, pressing out through the center of the heel, toes back towards the knees. Now as she breathes, every exhale, she should deepen the baby into the front of the spine, and maybe she can get a little bit lighter on her fingertips and draw the shoulder blades into her back pocket as she pulls the body apart. Good. She wants to feel the inner thighs move out and maybe the knees move back a little bit to the box as she widens the pelvic floor. And then on her next exhale, I want her to round. So she's going to round, and then one hand at a time, she can go onto the legs to help guide herself up to a seated position. Good. And then from here, I can have her shrug her shoulders into her ears and glide down, feeling the length through the back of the body. And one more deep inhale and long exhale. Good. And you're going to have a great birth. That was great. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you tune in again.